Let's do this thing. No music? Are we? I guess we're starting. All right,
we're doing the show.
All right, we're doing the show. Welcome. I don't know what's happening, but this is the show. Welcome to episode 770 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by JD Raider and Ben Funky Askren. A little less musical start to the day.
Man, that's like, certain kids have like a tick to start the match. They need to like slap hands with their coach.
I know.
Or something that was like you didn't hear your music and you're like,
What do I
boom,
even
take
do?
it
I'm
on
not
your
even
back
fired
off
up.
the bat.
I'm like
You're on
Ricky
bottom.
Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands or my voice or anything. We just okay. All right, so we are still in the midst of recapping the NC2A Wrestling
Almost there.
Championships. It was we made it sort of to 197, and then who knows what we ended up talking about. We didn't get there. We didn't finish it at least. Plenty of other things to get to. I was talking at practice with someone Tuesday, and he's like, "All right, who's the champs for next year?" And I was like, "Rattle them off, no problem, no problem, no problem." And then he's like, "All right, who wins 141?" And I was like, it was like, wait, who the heck
Who'd
is
you say
going
at
to win?
25? Glory?
Spencer the Condenser.
Oh, yeah, Spencer's back there.
Spencer, and then
Wow.
yeah, wow. Well, 41, I don't really know. So
I
we can
looked,
get.
it's not as bad as your text was. It's not
Well,
that bad.
who's gonna win?
I mean, Real Woods, Cole Matthews, Grant Wills.
Yeah,
Solid.
I guess
Ramirez
Real
is
Woods.
good.
Real Woods is gonna be the favorite. I would say he's
Carlson's
the favorite.
good. I mean, there's some good guys in there, and I'm sure. Well, obviously, Penn State had someone really good redshirting behind Nick Lee. Doesn't North Carolina have the one kid from Canada that was really good behind Keyshawn Clark?
Lachlan. I think he's a
Lachlan.
49, but I could be wrong.
He'll probably be 49.
Okay, got it.
Well,
yeah.
will he though? Because oh wait, yeah, O'Connor. Duh.
Although
He's up.
He wrestled 141 this year.
So maybe he will be.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be interesting. Yeah, Lachlan's good. There's a couple true freshmen that could maybe have an impact, although that's tough to predict as we learned this year.
Yeah, I really enjoy your article. Flo used to do like a "Who's in Red Shirt" article, or
The red shirt reports.
Red Shirt reports. I like
Yeah,
those when
baby.
they're coming out. Are they coming out?
I did the who had the best redshirt season.
He used to be. We used to do like
it used to be every weight.
weight by
Yeah.
weight. JD's.
Just let's weight by weight. I did all 10 weights.
We'll send him the old ones, Ben, when he was in
Yeah.
middle school.
And those are preseason when you look at who's coming in.
It's now the preseason though.
This was a retroactive who had the best 2022,
We're
2021.
goosing on
Redshirt
JD
season.
in real time. Let's go to 97. We can get back to 149 or 141 at any point in time. So, JD, you had a clip I think you wanted to pull up here from the. Oh wait, no, that was from 97. Never mind. I thought there was something from Woodley and Eric Schultz, but it's actually Jordan Wood and Colton Schultz exchange. Yeah, that was the exchange of the tournament. Craziest thing.
Exchange of the tournament might be a little too extreme, but it was pretty wild.
Oh, there's no question that Ben,
Oh,
there's
come
nothing
on.
comparable.
At a non-heavyweight, this is an average sequence, guys. I mean, like,
No,
say,
it's
for
not.
example, Mackay
But-
rolling. Hold on, Mackay rolling through Massa and putting him on his back. That was a great sequence. I mean, in the lighter weights, even just off the top of my head, right? Boom. You asked me. The Dayton Fix sequence where he hit the down block, go behind, didn't get a takedown on Roman, like that sequence was really good. Like there's a whole bunch of really good sequences.
Yeah, there's good sequences. Then there's like 300 pounders lifting each other in the air. You don't see that. You don't see that.
If it's not, Christian, my point is, if they're not heavyweights, it's not all that exciting.
Exactly. The whole point is that you don't see this at heavyweight. You see these things at other weight classes. You don't see guys get their hips. It reminded me. Do you remember when Snyder skied Medbury?
Oh yeah,
that was nuts. And seeing Schultz get picked up like that, but the difference is the head pinch and the roll through. It was the craziest thing we saw all weekend long. I think it was the most insane exchange.
Okay.
But you can I'm not saying it is the greatest example of perfect wrestling technique.
Technical.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I said it was just the most
Christian,
That's
insane.
the dirty bulk.
Christian's impressed by the heavyweight technique. He wants to go hang out with Ollie.
I do want to hang out with Ollie. Okay. We're doing everything we can to not talk about 197. And it's all my
Max
fault.
Dean maybe should have lost to JLO after JL almost should have lost to Cordell Norfleet in the second round.
What? No, you're
Is
confused.
Maxine
No, JL
the
went
rest of the
overtime.
Oh,
with
J.I.
Cordell
Yellow.
Norfleet.
Yes, J.I. Yellow did. I thought you meant that. Yeah. So that was definitely probably the most controversial match of
Christian tweeted
the
about
tournament.
it. Got
I
angry
tweeted
because
about
he was
it.
a UVA guy.
No, I don't really think that had anything to do with it.
Okay.
It was just a really bad call. I think if it was Cordell Norfleet, I would have tweeted the exact same thing. I mean, he held him on his back for 3 seconds. I showed Sion this clip.
No,
like,
it was really bad.
I showed Sion. Sion's like, man, I didn't see that. That's at least a 3 count. I'm like, I know. Not even one swipe.
Not even a swipe. I was like, what's the ref doing?
As you.
What'd you say, JD?
I probably thought it was a 2 count, but I did not think it was as egregious as you.
Really? I thought it was so bad.
JD, it's near fall. It's just clear.
I was in disbelief.
The ref was like running. He took the longest. If you can see just the outside of his feet. I don't know. We have the clip, but I'm not sure if we can pull it up.
Was it? Yeah, let's play it. Was this our man, the singer guy?
No, this wasn't Ryan Hagan, the voice of the songbird of our generation. It was the Max Dean versus J.I. Yellow.
Yeah,
I'm off too. I'm putting my screen on today. Too.
Also, it was a weird. The exchange afterwards was weird too, Ben. It was almost like a Peterson perpendicular. We could probably play the whole thing.
That whole thing was.
So first of all, they did not want to give this reversal. They held it forever. They did not want to call it. And this is when I stood on press row. I don't know if JD was there. And I said, they hate J.I.L.O. I said it right this moment, here, early in the second period. And I had no idea the plans they had later in this match. But
this is a reversal right there.
Yeah, it took
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. That was slow counting.
That's a count, bro.
Okay, now this is the weird one.
This is where he's probably pinned for a second here.
Yep. So
I had the other angle, so I was on the other side of this, and you could see his back really clearly.
Yeah, but they didn't call. They just called the takedown there.
Takedown. Yes.
Very weird exchange there between Aiello and Dean at the end. And it wasn't a danger takedown because both guys can't be on their back for danger. So they're saying that Max had control there when he kind of rolled him through.
Well, you can't be exposing your back through the other person. So Max's back was on top of JL. So I agree with that call actually.
Yeah, I think it's
not so much.
That's probably too. And it's the thing of it is, it's kind of like my whole thing with the Nolf Hidley takedown, which I said the point I made yesterday is like, okay, if Max Dean gives up 2 near fall there, it's not. It changes everything, right? And you can't just say, well, he would have won because you can just add these 2 points, and it's like, no, that's not what that actually means. But it does mean that J.I.L.O. should have had near fall that was not given. So that was bad, and it was pretty chaotic there. But then Dean, and he had to dig deep against Lou Dupré. And then, honestly, his next 2 matches were a lot less difficult and theatrical than his round of 16.
Theatrical. What a good.
There were theatrics.
Well, it's because Gavin Hoffman came up big in overtime twice.
Yes.
And then beat Woodley. I mean, he had 3 upsets in a row from the 21 to go to the semis.
Gavin Hoffman, I feel like we actually got a question about guys that wrestled a lot of overtime matches. I feel like Gavin Hoffman had a bunch in his career. In his season, I mean.
I'm looking at he had 2. What the hell's Gavin Hoffman? Oh, at the 2. He only had 2 at the tournament. That's not bad.
No, I just meant for the season because he had some big ones in the. He went to overtime with Dean, I thought, or Warner.
And he went to overtime with. Well, he beat Amos in overtime.
Right.
He didn't go to overtime with Warner, but it was 6-5. It was a good match. Yeah, you know what? For as much parity as this weight class had, it wasn't quite as fun at playing out as I hoped it would be. And maybe because there are particular entities in this weight class who are highly boring. Or maybe because they were also the parody is so good, right? Maybe, but I don't know. There was not a lot of highly exciting matches.
So
Dean's next one was a little controversial too with Dupré.
Yeah, it was. We could play it. We have that clip ready to go. The Dupré Dean one. So Dupré came out and got the first takedown. Now it was interesting because we knew Max was going to have someone who he had lost to in his career. He was either going to have Cam Caffey or Lou Dupré, and he lost to Lou back in the '84 days, a little while ago, obviously. But still knew that Lou was someone that could wrestle with him. But
so this is questionable because there was a no call initially, and then they went back.
So yes, the original was no 2 for Max here, and Dupré still has the foot, but Max is sort of
this-
behind. It's weird. I'm not sure what the call. Obviously, at this point, there's no takedown, but there is a point where he's sort of behind, and he's got behind the
Yeah,
arms.
why didn't that sequence keep playing?
I don't know.
Or do we have to cut or something? So I would have. I mean, honestly, I thought it was going to be 2 when it was. So I wasn't really upset about this one because I actually thought it was 2. I mean, it was kind of annoying when when Penn State seems to get all the calls, and one of our contentions is these freaking calls go to the booth, and almost none of them get changed. It's super stupid, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought it was 2 on the mat. When they didn't call it, I'm like, oh damn, they're not going to call it. It's not going to get changed because barely anything ever gets changed. And then, sure enough, they changed it.
Yeah.
Do you think you would assume going to the booth is better because it's more likely to get overturned because it's not somebody making their own call. However, do these refs know who's in the booth? Because refs are a pretty tight bunch. They all kind of know each other. Are you actually less likely to overturn a call of somebody like a friend or somebody you know rather than yourself? Because it's easy for me to be like, oh, I made a mistake. That should be 2. I want to get it right. It might actually be harder to be like, this guy I know, he made a mistake.
Isn't the boss man isn't the higher up one? So it's kind of like they would all have to defer to the boss. Because I thought the higher up ones were in the booth. Am I wrong on that one?
I don't know exactly the chain of command.
Okay. Yeah, but there were. I mean, I would venture to guess it was definitely less than 20% of calls were changed once they went to the booth.
Yeah, I'm sure it was lower.
Lower than that?
Probably. Yeah.
Like 10%?
Yeah, probably in that range. We can get those numbers actually.
Okay. Let's get those numbers. I want them, those numbers.
Let's get the numbies. But Penn State is notoriously really good at challenges. They have. It's not like a lot of people put on their tinfoil hats for that, but they just know the rules better than
their tinfoil hats.
Than a lot of other coaches, unsurprisingly. So but then Dean kind of cruises against Hoffman, and then it was kind of just a one take. It was just the one takedown. We can play it. What?
Why? No. Why did Jacob Warner decide to shoot? It was not an advisable decision. Jacob Warner doesn't shoot. I don't know why he just thought he was going to shoot here. This was not a good idea.
Yeah, let's play it. Why? It's a good question. First of all, he waited a really long time, and then I think he's probably like, all right, I should take a shot at some point.
I don't think he had a stall warning at that point, right?
No.
I don't think so. So it was like, why? Yeah,
I can look.
Wasn't it like you had a stall warning and you were, headed towards another one, and you just figured, hey, I got to get some offense going.
Yeah, they traded quick escapes, and really neither guy was trying to score from their feet. Yes. Until he took that shot, and Max's best thing is his right there.
Oh man, that was not advisable.
Yeah, if we could go back and watch that didn't look like there was a real the setup he needed there. Not good. And because the thing is, it's kind of the Spider-Man meme. They're both really good re-attackers, so that needs someone's got to shoot. But yeah,
Jacob's best score is I'm sure his number one takedown on the year is a sprawl go behind.
For sure,
100%,
or something off a re-attack, definitely.
Sure.
So yeah, that was basically it, and probably the most boring final. What would we say?
Final. Yeah. Yep. Not good. Yeah,
that's why I've been trying to avoid talking about it the whole time.
Yeah. Dean's first brothers to win since Aspen Brothers.
Hey, congratulations, Dean brothers, to an exclusive club.
That is interesting. Okay.
And wasn't their dad an All-American?
Dave was a two-time national finalist at Minnesota.
Finalist. That's good pedigree. Yeah. I don't know if they've ever been national champ brothers and finalist father.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You go way back. The Perry brothers won 9 titles or something like that.
Perry,
and the Pitt. Yeah, you know about them. I don't know if you woke to that.
Okay. Other things
they
to
run
note.
Oklahoma.
I was gonna say other really boring matches, right? So Elam gets over the hump against Bastida, but it's 1-0, boring. Warner Schultz 2-0, kind of boring. Buchanan over Elam 4-0, kind of boring. Like I said, we were really excited for this weight class, and it turned out to be kind of eh.
Well, in some ways, yes, but in others, in terms of the results and some of the higher seeds breaking through, I don't know that were we ever like, oh man, these are just the most entertaining guys. They're crazy. No, our whole thing was never that. It was just like, there's a lot of guys that are really even here and crazy things are going to happen, meaning upsets. Not like,
Sure.
You're not going to have some Jordan Wood, Colton Schultz type of high flying antics.
There's just literally so many. Go look at the backside. Look how many twos there are. It's like, it's disturbing. I mean, I'm saying like 80% of the matches are either 1 point or overtime.
Yanga Bastida's doing his part. He's trying to score points. Wait till he starts.
Except against Elam.
He won 4-2, 5-4, 4-3.
Yeah, and did you see his inside trip of Braxton Amos?
That was pretty slick off of it.
Okay.
Off of the limp leg.
What a hater. That was probably the second best exchange.
That was a 3-2 match though, also, right?
Yeah, win it, advance. Listen, he's been here 16 months.
Right.
He's already scored. He's scoring more points than
heavyweight.
guys that have been wrestling since 1995.
Let's go to heavyweight.
All right, we're going to the big boys. Heavyweights, the heaviest of Chevrolets.
This was way more fun, except there was one very depressing moment when Great American Hero Wyatt Hendrickson got beat.
Well, there were two. There were actually two such moments like that because
Damn it.
he got lanced. Shout out Christian Lance. I think we've already done the Christian Lance deep dive here, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk too much. But let's get into this Schultz Wood match here. We can play this. And I thought when Wood beat Cassiope, I thought, okay, Schultz just going to win this. But they had wrestled already, and it was a tiebreaker match. Wood really had the tournament of his life. I mean, he was right there to make this final, very obviously. And the crazy thing that's lost in that wild exchange is that Schultz got out with like one second in the minimum amount of time that he had to, or like just barely got away in time. Yeah, right here. Yeah. He had like 6 seconds to get away, and he got away in like 3. And he gets this reversal.
Put the beef on him.
Beef.
Shot. That's a lot of beef, Christian Piles. You wouldn't want that on you. You're not going to lift him up.
No, I might. I might, though. You can't rule it out. And I don't know how Wood finds himself underneath.
Oh, no!
Can you imagine being their parents in that moment when, like, you're both thinking it's over, and then it's just, Colton Schultz. Definitely the highlight of the tournament. And, man.
So,
go.
Is Schultz or Kirkfleet the favorite next year?
Let's go Schultz. Let's have some fun. Or Mason Paris.
Man, I'm not.
I mean, in the finals, I'm not picking against Penn State.
Yeah. So we need to see this match. 1, 2. I think it's a mistake to count out Cassiope and Paris in this category because
you know who got so much better in the last year also? Lucas freaking Davison.
He had
he took Gable down.
Got so much better.
Yeah, he took Gable down, and which is like should have you as like a Hodge candidate right away.
And he competed hard with him. Even after that takedown, he didn't get blown out. He competed pretty hard.
And he gave Paris a really competitive match. And then I feel like did he wrestle Cassiope tough?
No, he lost to Jordan Wood 8-7.
Okay, maybe that was the match. So that was a good showing for Lucas as Northwestern continues to really impress. But the interesting
thing, I'd like to point out, I was the only one that had him All-American.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah, given his how much he's stepped up in the last year, because I mean, when he started kicking butt this year, I didn't see it coming. So given that, I think who knows, his progress again for the following year could be really good because he was 9-5, and now just national round of 16 last year. So maybe won a couple matches at nationals, but not very much.
Right. So my thing with heavyweight moving forward is Paris has never lost to Cassiope, and we haven't seen that match, but it's never happened. What? Paris has never lost to Cassiope, right?
Yeah, he killed him in the wrestlebacks.
So, I mean, but Cassiope beats Kirkfleet.
Paper, scissors, rock.
And Kirkfleet beats Paris, and then there's Schultz. So, I'm not putting them in the finals. I think you say, okay, you could assume development for Kirkfleet is going to continue, and his trajectory is really strong. But at the same time, he's had some difficulties with some of the guys. So I don't know. It'll really depend on how the regular season plays out and how the seeds play out. Because right now it seems super matchup dependent how heavyweight moves on now. And then also
speaking of seeds, did Colton Schultz sitting out against Kirkfleet and getting the 2, making the finals, justify doing that?
Yeah.
Moving forward?
Of course it did. Of course it
Which
did.
it
The whole point was get opposite Gable. You can't do that if you lose to Kirkfleet or Paris. But it worked. Don't hate the player. Hate the NCAA's game. This is their game. This is their rules. Can't be mad at Zeke.
Schultz didn't default, like, say, at the conference tournament. They just sent – no, they did actually just forfeit that match. But, like, that doesn't go on Schultz's record if he doesn't take the mat, if he doesn't injury default in the duel.
Right. So there's no
So I don't know how you navigate that.
Yeah.
Hey, if it's on the schedule,
wins more. Yeah, you can count wins more also, obviously.
Yeah, I think as a sort of a seeding tiebreaker type of criteria, if your two teams wrestled or you were scheduled to wrestle and one guy takes the mat and the other doesn't, that maybe isn't a win, but it should be a differentiator, right? You don't get to say, okay, this is a loss for Colton Schultz now. But as you are in the comparative thing and they're close within a certain threshold, I think they should get some benefit of that. Because otherwise, I mean, why would you? I mean, he should. I mean, they were wise to not let him wrestle Kirk. And similarly with Paris in that duel, they didn't wrestle. All right. So that's heavyweight. And that really the only thing other than Gable not being back, though he could be.
Is Orndorff back?
Well, yes, he's back.
Right.
He's back, but will he be inserted? Will they use Feldman?
Yeah. Man, I was just looking through the eligibility because I just looked at a few more as we were talking about this. The extra year made it so ridiculous. I mean, literally so dumb. Everyone's gonna be in college 6, 7, potentially 8 years for some of these guys. It's really absurd.
My curiosity is about what happened. Everyone saw what happened with a lot of these 6th, 7th year guys and how they looked, and then they'd be
Didn't go well.
"Am I gonna sign up for this? Like, I come back and do what? Who did it? You know,
who got better in their 6th
super benefit?
Clark.
You know,
Clark.
Which Clark?
Oh, Keyshawn.
Clark.
I thought you were like saying Corey Clark. I was like, wait, what?
Corey Clark.
Was he a 6-year guy? Keyshawn was a 6-year guy?
Nicky Soriano, baby.
Pretty sure.
He was 6-year.
But he truly only had 4 seasons.
Yes.
So he hadn't done like Kemmer and Jaden and Stevan.
So I think you're posing the question, who got that much better? And I honestly think you're kind of right on like 5th year to 6th year development. But obviously there's, say at 33, DeSanto would have been done this year, right? At 41, so, there's other guys who would not have been able to wrestle this year, and they were able to wrestle this year. So a lot of guys held their, wherever they were, that they kind of held that, right? And so that's taking up spots in the bracket of other guys who would, if the older guys weren't there with their extra year of eligibility, that would be going into there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Well, for DeSanto, it was his 5th year, which is a very normal amount of time for a blue chip recruit like he was.
He did get because he never redshirted, but he had an extra. He actually had 5 competitive years.
Yes, and similar for Nick Soriano, he never redshirted other than the Olympic redshirt. So there's a little less wear and tear on those guys than the.
I believe Jordan Wood was a 6-year guy.
Yes,
and he obviously
never had to cut weight.
Yes, that's a big thing.
There's a lot of factors that can. So I think, and it wasn't for me. It's not even about improvement. It's a lot of these guys come back to help their team have a level of success or to help finally get a certain individual goal, and
Yeah.
it didn't happen, right? And a lot of these guys were talking.
What do you mean by it didn't happen?
What didn't happen for
They
a
didn't
lot
take
of
that
these.
step up to achieve that All-American goal or whatever that you're.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I would have to go on case by case, more of a case by case basis of guys who wouldn't have been back and who came back. But I feel like, yeah, obviously, as you know, and there's a certain specific team, maybe we won't mention my name, that had a lot of really old guys that underperformed compared to last year. So maybe that's on top of your mind. But I kind of support. I feel like the sixth and seventh years they wrestled to like kind of how good they were, and obviously for if you're and this is it's gonna. I mean, I think this is what's gonna play out over the next couple of years. Wait, what?
You think the 6th and 7th year guys wrestled to their ability?
Yeah, close to. Yeah, 100%. So I mean, what's gonna happen is, well, here, let me play this out. What's gonna I mean, you can point out. So Iowa guys, that's a team I didn't want to say it because I don't want to be an Iowa hater, Piles. But those guys, obviously, they kind of went a little downhill. But a lot of the other guys wrestled fine, I think, comparatively to where their skill level is. But what's going to happen in the next couple of years is, as guys get into year 6, if they have eligibility left, their team is essentially going to say, if they're not good, right? If they're not going to be a contributor, the team is saying, "Hey, man, this is your 6th year. We got no scholarship money for you. Beat it, get out of here."
They can't do
if
that.
They're really good. Come on, man. Come on. They're going to do that.
Believe me, this is a big problem for a lot of teams. They have this dead money tied up with guys that don't even want to be varsity.
There's a lot. I've been in college rooms. A lot of guys the coaches figure out how to get rid of dudes that they don't want.
It's harder than when you were a college coach, Ben, for sure.
No, I was in a college room 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, Christian. I see what happens.
It's not easy.
Well, it gets done. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
It gets done.
Okay.
It gets done.
I was
there a year and a half ago.
Okay.
I was in a college
and
room.
I talk to coaches all the time. They get these guys, they're recruits, and then they just want to be depth guys. They don't even want to start. They don't even want to try. Their money's tied up. As long as they're making the grades and they're staying out of trouble, there's not an actual mechanism to cut their money.
Be mean enough then.
Yeah, maybe. But it's a problem.
Okay, so anyways, I was going to say it is going to hurt these teams because or hurt the younger individuals because the good 6th and 7th years they'll keep around on money, and the other ones they're going to find a way to get rid of them.
Yeah, if possible. And that will be a thing that happens for sure.
Push them on. I mean, a lot of guys push them onto medicals, and then that takes money away. That's a good way.
Okay, so
all right.
That's the heavyweight class. Anything else there? One takedown given up. And apparently, also I said all tournament long and that Yanni didn't give up a takedown, but McDougald actually took Yanni down. So
McDougald, he's sneaky.
So, Mick, apologies to all of you. I messed that one up. Anyway, all right. Next up, where do we want to go?
141.
It's like this. I was gonna say the portal.
The portal.
Portal. Oh
Ooh.
yeah, I would love to discuss
this. Let's portal.
Let's do it.
Now, so here's the question, or here's the thing. So John Smith had a quote that came out. Adam Engel, our man on the ground there in Stillwater, said that here's a quote from Coach Smith: "The portal's a joke. You know that, right? It's an out. It's created a toxic environment." So I think there's a couple things at play here because I don't think Coach is saying that transferring is a joke or a bad thing, obviously, right? I think it's just the mechanism of the portal that he disagrees with.
So if we can get a more full statement, I would love to hear more from John Smith because obviously I respect the guy a lot. But I think I actually love the portal and I love the current transfer system because it gives more power to athletes. And what you want to have a balance of power between athletes and coaches because, in the old system, if we go not that many years back even, an athlete has a lot less power. A coach can leave and coach the next year. That happens all the time, right? No big deal there at all. They don't get suspended for a year or without pay, but an athlete can't go compete. And so if an athlete and a coach are having a disagreement, right? And when you think of like Any argument, Christian? I'm sure you have arguments with my wife. Me and my wife we had a fun one yesterday, right? It happens. And it's always like, who's wrong? Are you wrong? Am I wrong? Is it somewhere in the middle? It's likely somewhere in the middle because it's very rare that one person's 100% wrong. There's like some gray area. And so, you need to come to that conclusion and resolve it. But when the coach has all the power, where there's a power imbalance and the coach knows that the athlete doesn't want to leave because if he leaves and he has to sit out for an entire year, that creates a power imbalance and the coach can kind of be a dick about it. And the athlete has to kind of deal with that. So now the athlete has, I don't understand. It's not an equivalent amount of power, right? Because they would still have to go get another scholarship or something like that at another place, but they have the opportunity or the possibility to. That's a really good thing. If they had to sit for a year, and obviously Evan Wick would be a great situation. Would Bono have released him? Probably not. Probably not. Especially Evan initially was strongly considering Penn State. Would Bono have released him? Hell no.
Yeah.
We got a question to divert a little bit about the rumors about Wick going to Penn State and Soriano going to Penn State were like very real this summer. And if they both would have gone to Penn State,
oh my God,
that would have been like tournament record setting.
Would they have with those points? I mean, six chances.
I didn't do the math,
six chances never happened.
And third place points, yeah, it would. I mean, because 157's that probably would have set the total. So yeah, but back to the transfer portal thing. So I like the balance that it provides between coach and athlete. Now to John Smith's point, there's a lot of kids out there, and mostly this is worked into the kids by the parents. So but by the time the kids get to college, they are adults. So I guess they would need to take take responsibility for their own actions. But there's a lot of kids who think everything else is someone else's fault. And if I'm not having the success I want, it's not my fault, it's your fault. And it's a lot easier to blame other people than it is to say, this is my problem. This is my problem. I need to get better. And I have the resources where I need to go. Then on the other side, I got so many, Chris, I could do a monologue for 30 minutes.
I love it.
On the other side, college coaches are tricky, dude. They trick some of these dudes into going to college. They do, right? And I deal with it all the time because I coach high school kids, and they're like, this coach wants me to come on this recruiting trip, and they put a lot of pressure and a lot of guilt, and a lot of times it gets kids to commit places that they maybe don't really want to be. And then so for them to go there, and they had a 3-day trial run, an official visit, right? A 3-day trial one when they were at the college to say like, this is the place I want to live. And then they get there and they're like, wait, this is not what I expected, or this sucks, or I went to this college because this coach was going to be here. Now this coach left, or a teammate, or right, it could be 500 different things. And so I love the fact that kids can transfer easy. And yes, obviously our kids that are going to blame things on other people sometimes. That's their problem. They're gonna live with that the rest of their life. I know maybe it does affect these college teams, but they're gonna live with that the rest of their life. And do you really want to keep a kid like that on your team? Because there's a potential that if everything is someone else's problem, that they're going to be kind of a cancerous entity within your team.
Yeah, that is a definite thing. Circling back, if Nick and Evan went to Penn State, they would have had 169 total points, which would not actually be the NCAA record, which...
what is it? Well, 170's record, right?
97 Iowa had 172.
172.
Yeah. And that's not actually the record, I don't think. There's like an adjusted...
But they used to do a different scoring system.
Yeah. So I think either way, 170 or 172 is the record, I believe. 169 would not be the record, which is crazy to think that 6 champs and a third would not be enough. But it wouldn't.
Yeah. And on the other side, John Smith has had he's had a lot of kids transfer. And maybe he needs to take a deep look into how he's treating certain people. And I know he's old school and comes from the tough love, but maybe some people aren't feeling tough love. Maybe they're feeling the tough hate or something, right? Maybe he needs to take a deep look at that.
Yeah, I do think the shift in the the leverage that the coaches don't have is definitely a factor in it. But also the teams that are going to learn how to look at the top 4 teams and how drastically they were impacted by transfers. You had
getting transfers. Yeah.
You had Penn State had Kerfleet and Dean. You had Michigan, who had Soriano, and they also had Brucky as well, who's a transfer.
Yep.
Iowa had Ironman and DeSanto. The 4th team was Arizona State. They had McGee. They had Parco, and I think that's it.
Munoz.
So, who?
Munoz hurt them.
Yeah, he hurt them.
Yeah, I mean, in Arizona State's case, though, both of those kids that transferred had their programs dropped.
Right.
So it wasn't even like they actually wanted to leave.
Another thing with the portal is it's not like full-on leverage because the team, if you go in the portal, that is a mechanism they can cut your money if you go in the portal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's a risky run. Now some of these guys aren't on money, and someone actually tweeted at me about PSU dumping for Clearin. They didn't dump. The word was for Clearin. He walked on to Penn State. He wasn't getting any money. Yes. So there was no money to get rid of there. He was not on money. So that is they didn't.
Yeah.
So he wasn't going to start.
So what do you think? I mean, what's your opinion? I give my opinion. What's your opinion?
I mean, I think the portal is a good thing. I do think it can reinforce bad behaviors that I think it could publicize bad behaviors or instincts that athletes might have in terms of lack of accountability. But I think the portal isn't what creates that. It does create a fast track for not confronting difficult situations, right? It makes it a lot easier, kind of puts an express lane for something's hard. There's the easy way to get out of it, right? Whereas figuring out and problem solving, making it work wherever you are is inherently more difficult and challenging, but could be potentially way more rewarding.
If that was balanced by something on the coach's side also, I could be more okay with it. But the problem that I have is there was a power imbalance previously, right? Where the kid has to sit out a year and coaches can do whatever the hell they want. There's no mechanism to punish them for their poor behavior. It's really just one-sided.
The penalty of the portal has nothing to do with guys having to sit years or not sit years. It's just a more
it is when you think about an argument happening, and one side, the athlete is saying, okay, if we'll say me and you, if me and you argue, and I'm the athlete and you're the coach, and we cannot come to a conclusion that we both like, and I say, hey, we're just not going to get along. I got to go, right? And let's say it's my fault. I got to go sit out a year. I deal with that, right? What if it's you, Christian? Are we saying that no coaches are total assholes and doing the wrong things? Because that's not feasible, right? There's definitely some. When we look at whose fault is the problem, some of it is the coach's problem. There's just there's no way that's not the case. So now if you're the one causing the issue, right? The coach is the problem. Mm-hmm. And now I have to bear the brunt of that punishment. I have to bear the year because you're doing bad things. That's not fair. That's a power imbalance. And you're not bearing any of that, right? And because what a lot of these college coaches do, they're able to paint this rosy-ass picture on some kid's recruiting trip. I'll just say it with Bono. He said when Evan chose to leave, he said, no one likes Evan. No one likes Evan. He was a kid. Dude, couldn't be more not true. Evan was like, he's just a great dude. I mean, this is like, I don't know if you've been around Evan Wick, but he's like a really genuine, good, happy person, really hard worker. Like, I can't really see anything wrong with Evan, right? I spent a lot of time around the guy. I don't have any issues with him. So the coach says, oh, it was his problem. He was the butthole. He did this. He did that, right? And none of that's true. And so in the situation where I have to sit out a year, I have a power imbalance and I have to deal with your crap because I don't want to, because in Evan Wick's case, he doesn't get to go wrestle that last year. He doesn't.
So, yeah, that, I guess we're talking about different things. You're just talking about the current state of transferring in college wrestling. I'm talking about like the portal itself, the mechanism of putting your name in this thing saying, hey, guys, reach out to me. Because that doesn't have anything to do with it. Yeah, it's just a more efficient way to Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't have anything to do with if guys get to sit or have to sit out a year, right? That's
Well,
just like there's just a change in NCAA legislation. Basically, Nick Soriano started all this. He got the ball rolling on.
So I feel like what I'm talking about is what John Smith is talking about. The fact that athletes can kind of freely come and go as they please, which he doesn't like. I think that's what John Smith is actually discussing. So, I mean, I think that's what we should discuss. We should discuss the portal as a mechanism. John Smith, is probably saying like, I wish kids were stuck here and couldn't leave, even if they were unhappy.
Yeah, and I don't know. Is that what he means? We have two sentences.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I would love to ask him. Like I said, I would love to ask him more. That's my outside interpretation.
Yeah.
I mean, I listened to John one time talk about how him and Kenny Monday, this was in response to not liking RTCs. It was like, well, the athletes have it too easy because me and Kenny Monday went and had to go fundraise money from individual businesses, and colleges shouldn't have to do that. The athletes should go do that themselves because that's what I did. And it's like, well, I mean, that was obviously took a lot of ingenuity and innovation for you to go fundraise all that money for yourself. And that's freaking awesome. It's great that you did it, right? But if a college can go fundraise money for their RTC in a much more efficient manner and provide a place for athletes to train, then that's a really good thing too.
Yep. Yeah. So I think there's two. It's different dynamics. I think you hit it. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Ben. I do like that athletes have more mobility. It's always been nonsense that coaches can leave whenever they want, and then the athletes are stuck there. I say stuck. They're not actually stuck. They can leave, but you know what I mean.
But they kind of are stuck because especially when you're when you have a 4-year window, we're talking right. We're talking 25% of your eligibility is gone if the coach doesn't okay it.
Yeah. I mean, I think transfers are good. I think they're going to make. I think for us, it's going to make. This. I said it on the Tuesday show that hey, this could be the craziest season for transfers. I bet maybe ever, like one of them. And then it kind of turned into something else. But I just think the current state of the portal and everything, and coaches now realizing like, man, should I could invest heavily in this high school junior or senior, and maybe they'll do something. Or I can say, I know this person can do this at the college level, and I have this money set aside. I think that's going to be the new thing. And how is the next move? And this is where I think I get where Coach Smith may be coming from. Because think about like this, but I'm not saying I agree or disagree with this. I'm saying,
let's play the other side.
Here's the other side. All right. I'm a small-time program, a smaller program, non-traditional power. We say, hey, guy from Ohio who got third 4 times, we see what you can actually be, and we're gonna invest in you. We're gonna da-da-da-da-da, and you bring it in. That guy comes in and he proves himself right, and he proves those coaches right. Has that early success. Okay, now I've proven what I can do at the college level. So. Hey guys, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to step up to the Big Ten. I want to be in a Big Ten, big time program. I want to go to Oklahoma State, Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State, Arizona State, etc. That's when I listen. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Can I push back on what you said there? And I have no research, so this is just gonna be my own intuition on this. And you would have to, we would have to go ask actual individual athletes. But like when someone goes from not very good to being really good all of a sudden, and I know what happens, obviously, most likely a lot of that comes from investment from the coaches into the athlete, right? And then some type of bond being created. I believe in you, you get better type of thing. I would venture to guess a lot of those type of people don't leave, and I know like Hildebrandt, but like I don't, so we would need to know their stories, right? But I think there's probably more that don't leave than do leave from a program like that, because there are really tight bonds created, and loyalty is part of it. But you also not only loyalty, but you also see, hey, I was down here, and now because I came here and this coaching staff or this partner, now I'm up here. I mean, that definitely Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's how I
It
feel
could
about
be,
that.
yeah, and it could be like a boogeyman I'm creating. Like this is kind of the worst case scenario, the small program. They build this guy up, he does great, and then he takes the first train. That is, but I do
Yeah,
think
but
that,
I mean, it would be really fun if we actually like took like say a Keyshawn Clark. What happened in American? I said for him, I think it was grad school, right?
mhm.
Or, I guess I'd be curious as to why Hildebrandt didn't go back to Central Michigan. I mean, maybe his thing was go win a team title or something like that. And it'd be interesting to actually go through, be like Northwestern for Seabass. I'm pretty sure it was a school issue.
I don't know. I think he wanted to go
That
back to Jersey. I mean,
okay.
the rumors about Sebastian transferring were like almost a year in advance. Like he's leaving. He's going to leave after he graduates. So I don't know what that was about. And honestly, he
Yeah.
had his best years at Northwestern, I would say.
Yeah, so it would be really interesting to see, like, what is the actual reason? Is what we're proposing, where a kid goes to a small program and then gets picked off, is it happening like we're thinking it's happening, or are there other reasons that maybe we're not seeing?
Yeah. And of course we're never going to see all the reasons, right? There's probably almost no instances where we'll have the full picture of what was happening in the room, what was happening with the athlete, with the coaches, etc. So it's
Sure.
a lot of it's hypothetical. But I like in general I think it's a good thing.
Who's going into the portal this year?
Well, Rocky Jordan's in the portal.
Rocky Jordan? He should be.
Yeah.
That's a move by
I
Rocky.
mean that's a smart move. And it's got to be strange because his brother's literally on staff at Ohio
But
State,
that-
but
I
the
feel
writing's
like
on
that-
the wall.
Yeah, that's a situation where, especially if he's going to a Big Ten, he wouldn't even be able to do it before, right? And I mean, maybe because his brother's the coach, he would have said, "Hey, Tom, let's let him go for free," But like, there's been plenty of situations where a college coach has not allowed a backup to transfer because they think, "Oh, I know, Rocky can actually wrestle Caleb Romero really close, and I don't want him wrestling for someone else." Because maybe he beats Caleb, 2 out of 10 times or something to that effect.
Right. No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And no doubt some of these coaches don't want to see him go and want to keep him as long as possible.
What percentage of the All-Americans this year do you think transfer? I'm looking. It's kind of a low percentage. Like, there's not a lot. I'm looking through all the All-Americans, how many transfer.
right.
And there's the small amount. And actually, the majority are kind of when they're older. So, like, Soriano was older. Rivera was older.
Well, he was
older.
sort of older. Not really. He transferred after his freshman year.
Who?
Soriano.
Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his first transfer. I forgot his first transfer. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about this one. Wow. What an idiot.
So looking at 25, I think Soriano's the only guy that's transferred on the podium.
Yep.
133, DeSanto, McGee, Corbin Myers.
And McGee had to, obviously, though. So I don't know if that's a really fair count. His program got dropped. There was no options.
Yeah. So 3.
Corbin Myers. Where did Corbin Myers? Oh,
Edinburgh.
And now, again, his coach left, right? So, I mean, it's like, you should get a free pass to go.
These aren't judgment. We're just counting the transfers.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about them because not everyone may know this that's listening to our program.
Keyshawn, Sebastian, for 41. I don't think anyone else.
Both of those guys were older when that happened.
Yes. 49.
Gomez. What was his situation? Because he was kind of retired.
He was retired, and then he unretired. He thought he was done, and then got the itch and wanted to look elsewhere.
So did he not like Iowa State then?
I don't know if he
why he didn't go back there?
He didn't want to continue wrestling there.
Okay. Parco, obviously program dropped again, so forced transfer.
57.
None of them, I don't think.
None.
Right?
No.
None. 65. Wick.
That's a big one.
That's it.
Yes, that's
74 is none, I think.
Correct.
Right? 84, also none?
Also none. Marcus Coleman, Jonathan Lowe, no. 97, Max Dean, that's a big one.
Max Dean would be the big one.
Bastida transferred from Cuba.
And Max Dean, you almost say it's non-wrestling related a little bit from what our understanding is.
Well,
I mean, that freaking Ivy League canceled wrestling for a year, and they were worried they were going to cancel it again, and other things that I don't want to get the show canceled, so I won't even talk about them.
Yeah. Greg Balsack was a transfer as well. He was at Clarion.
Oh, he was. Was he a graduate school or like what's his story? I don't know anything about his
He's been there. He's been at Rutgers a little bit. He may have been a graduate transfer, but yeah.
Okay.
And then heavyweight transferred. Greg Kirkfleet is a transfer, and
Lance
Christian Lance.
Oh, Lance from D2 to D1.
From D2 to D1.
So we didn't really have any examples of. So obviously Edinburgh, big coaching change. Old Dominion and Fresno canceled their programs, but there wasn't really any other examples of like small school have success in a big school. Because like Bolsack, for example, he didn't really have them. I mean, he was like okay at Clarion, but not great.
Yes.
Never All-American.
True. Yeah, he never reached that level and then left. He left, he didn't reach the level, and then he got on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So not a lot of transfers that would fall under the category that I was describing, but we'll see. Yeah. It's going to accelerate.
You think so?
I mean, well, at the same token, Suriano's transfers, I don't think were. They're definitely not the example I was bringing up, but he was having success everywhere he was wrestling. He was the 2 seed at NCAAs his true freshman year, and he beat the first and second placers that year.
Yes.
He then won NCAAs the very next year at Rutgers, and then he got second to Spencer. He had the knee injury, and then he won the next year, and then he transferred out of Rutgers. So he was having success everywhere he went.
Yes. Agreed.
He's just a man on the move. Who knows where he's going next?
A man on the move. Where is he going next?
I don't know.
The real wrestling nomad.
Honestly, I'm sure he doesn't know.
You know what I thought was going to be a big factor in this transfer portal too is that there was a good 18-month window where high school athletes were not able to visit colleges literally at all. Like they weren't allowed to go there. So I really thought, man, there's a bunch of people who are going to sign up for something and they never ever seen it or been there, and they're going to get there and I said, damn, this ain't what I signed up for. I'm out of here.
So one thing I mentioned about the transfer and just like the off-season chatter is often about recruiting, who's going where, coaching changes and transfers. I feel like it's going to be a quiet. I feel
like we haven't talked about recruiting for a while.
We haven't. I think so many are locked up.
That's why?
Yeah, probably. Once.
So a lot of the juniors are locked up, right? Are you saying, or the seniors, or both?
Both. I think there's a lot of the big
Still
names.
Decent amount of 2023s out there, but yeah, the big guns.
2023 big recruiting class rankings. You already have 2023 recruiting class rankings?
It's going to be a running thing.
Dang, already? What?
It's not a final thing, but you get a bit another recruit, you move up in the rankings. That's how it's done.
Wow. Okay. Wow. This is. I mean, it feels really early because this doesn't close for. What are we talking? Like 15 months.
That's
or
right.
something?
That's why it's fun to track.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. I never even
this
seen
team
this
came
article.
out strong early, and then they got this thing.
Wait till you see our top 30 kindergartners article. You think that's early?
Oh man!
I can't believe we got
painful.
scooped on that one.
I can't believe that happened. Yeah. I can't believe that happened. That was all timer. Wow. Wow.
Classic moment. Where were you when?
Wow. I saw it and I was like, oh God, puke in my stomach.
It was great.
Wow.
Love it. I think we could go younger, honestly.
Oh, stop.
Like best potential parents, athleticism and drive, who could have the best wrestling child? Do they live in a hotbed for wrestling? We could go deeper, Ben. We could go much deeper.
Oh, that's funny. All right. I'm trying to look through the class of 2023 rankings so I can see what percent. I never seen an article before, but what percentage of them are actually committed? Boom. I'm gonna find it eventually.
You find what I was just gonna say is I don't expect a lot of major coaching changes, which is probably the first sign that there's gonna be tons.
Why do you feel like that?
Because where? Who's retiring? Who's on the hot seat? People can say, this one team comes up every year, but like I don't think they're gonna make a change.
Team?
Oklahoma comes up every single year. Like no matter who's the coach, it's like they're looking. I think my theory is the Sooners, boosters just got big mouths and like to flap their gums and just like stir up chatter more than any other school because it comes up every single year, and I don't think it's merited personally. I don't think
Gabe Arnold going to Iowa. You guys don't have that written in your rankings.
Who?
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm on the 2023. Nate, what happened to Meyer Shapiro? He was such a beast at UW Cats. I haven't heard nothing about him.
Well, he doesn't wrestle a ton. He's the man though. He's very, very good. He didn't wrestle Who's Number One, so everyone would have seen him then. But then he had to pull out for injury.
Hey, I don't want to complain here, Christian. All
right. Well, you
class of 2023 big board here. It still says top sophomores in a bizarre year. It hasn't been updated since June 9, 2021. So, JD, get to work, baby. Maybe a little
Hey,
update
why are
there.
you coming on me?
Well, seems like something
I'm not
you
the
should
big
do.
board guy.
All right. Thanks.
Hayden Walters, only a junior? Wow, he's good.
All right.
Braden
You want to go to
Thompson.
questions?
No, I want to stare at this big board for a while.
All right. Well, I don't it's very
what do you
boring.
want to talk about? Why is it boring? It's fun.
You're
Ryder
reading
Rogotsky.
names.
Ryder Rogotsky, he's probably going to move up a little bit. Oh, Braden Schultz, he's a savage. He should definitely move up. But we don't wrestle anything in Wisconsin, so it's going to be, he hasn't had a really good match since probably last summer, unfortunately.
Who
Grayson
added
Clark.
the 10?
Oh, yeah. Keep going. I'm just going to say names. I'm just going to keep interrupting.
Great radio.
All right.
Go. Do it.
Are you sure?
Coy Beaskins, he's got to move up. He's at 54. He's freaking good.
Now that Nick Lee's college career is over, how does he stack up against the Kale era Penn State wrestlers? So I think he's squarely behind.
All five.
What'd you say?
All five at least. Then I have to.
So it's where does he fall in the Chinzo Mark Hall sort of strata? I guess is probably the question. Nico. So okay, let's look.
What are his finishes? 5, 3, 1, 1.
That sounds. Was he fifth as a true freshman?
He was fifth.
Yeah, I think that's right. So he's behind DT, Ed, Zane. This is not in exact order. Nolf.
Fifth. First. So he's behind Mark Hall and Vincenzo then.
Well, are you just? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Did not red shirt, right?
He
definitely went as a true freshman.
It says unattached, and then obviously he had a good year in the there's a chance. So obviously you take his 5 years, but if you take the last year off, he probably would have won in 2020 also. So you go 5-5-1-1. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
2020 he had one loss. It was to Ironman, right?
Yes. 20.
No, Luke Fletcher. Oh, remember that?
They went back and forth.
They went back and forth. They went, well, yeah, they're 1-1. So there's probably a pretty solid. He would have been number 2 seed going to NCAAs. There's probably a pretty solid chance he would have won it.
Yeah, I've seen that movie. So, all right, he's behind DT, Ed, Zane, Nolf, Nickel. Then you've got Nico, Mark Hall, Chenzo, Quentin Wright.
No, he's above Quentin Wright.
They've had so many good guys. He's above Quentin Wright? You're certain of this?
I'm certain. Final answer.
Why is that?
Because Quentin Wright had during the seasons, he had a lot of L's. Both his, I believe, not his senior year, but I believe both his.
Okay, they had the same amount of undefeated seasons.
One.
One.
But then Nick Lee had 2 1-loss seasons. So I guess you would say Nick Lee would have had 0 undefeated seasons. Is your argument there? Quentin did wrestle as a true freshman, but then he redshirted after that. So I think he took 5th as a true freshman, then redshirted, then came back, and he was not that good that year. And then he was like a freaking 9 seed at Big Tens, and then ended up winning a national title, right?
He did. He won Big Tens and NCAAs that year. But then after that, he basically was he's very steady. He did take a loss his junior year. He lost to Bozak, and I think he had one other loss in the regular season. But then his last year, he bumped up another weight, and he was undefeated, and he beat Dustin Kilgore, who was a returning NCAA champion. I think he may have better wins than Nick Lee. Although we watched Nick, and one thing that clouds a little bit of our judgment is that Nick Lee beat Yanni in freestyle and Zane Rutherford. But I'm not sure if that's a criteria. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I mean, honestly, it'd be good content to rank the 10 best Penn State Kale era wrestlers of all time, because it's not easy.
Well, yeah. I mean, we did the top 5. Remember that?
Yeah, and that's a very debatable order.
Absolutely.
And then, Nico was 2-2-3-2-1, 2-2-3-1. That's pretty nuts.
Nick Lee's better than Nico. Just because, even in senior year, we were like, is Nico going to win? It was kind of definitely in the margins. And I guess Nick Lee did go to overtime with Ironman this year, but that was an exception, right? He was very dominant besides that match.
Yeah, I would say Nico was in much tougher weight classes. He had Nathan Tomasello, Thomas Gilman, etc. in his weights, and he won that year.
But that was the year Gilman got upset, right? So no, he should have been the under.
He beat Gilman in the NCAA finals.
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
Nico hater. You hate small people, and you hate heavyweights.
I hate small people. I picked freaking Nick Lee over Quentin Wright.
You hate Quentin Wright.
Okay, but are you putting Nick Lee behind RBY at this point in time? Or are you putting Nick Lee above him?
Man, maybe. Because the weights, I mean, I look a lot at who you beat. And maybe I'm not looking at but I think beating Dayton Fix twice is quite a feather in the cap for Roman.
So,
not to mention DeSanto.
RBY was 8th, and then
True freshman. Which is better than Nick Lee's, or which is not as good as Nick Lee's. True freshman.
5th. So he went 8th, and then Corona year, and he would have been a 5 seed at NCAAs.
Yeah, he wasn't going to win. He lost to Seabass bad.
And Gross.
Yeah, I don't know if he lost
during the year.
Yeah.
No, it was really competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So he lost to Gross and Seabass. So let's just say he takes 3rd or somewhere in there. I think that's fair.
8-3-1-1. But if he gets another one,
2 undefeated. He gets another one, then he goes up above, I think, everyone except the top 5.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, maybe so.
I think so.
He's more
3 champions. Yeah, besides the top 5.
Chinzo got kind of screwed, though, because Chinzo could have been a 3-timer with 2 wins over Imar. Think about that.
Yeah.
That puts him in. When you talk about elite wins, beating Imar, when he beat Imar, that is one of the more shocking NCAA moments I can ever recall. And he beat him. Then he did
first, second, and then was he the number 1 seed his 2020 year?
He lost to Bull. He and Bull split. They were the top 2 guys.
Who would have been number 2 to Bull?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that goes? Let's just use our imagination. For but a moment.
So then I go Chenzo. You're right. I'm wrong. I go Chenzo number 6 then.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and there's so many. Honestly, you really need someone to sit down, and I think you would appreciate it more and have a more informed thing, because you want things like bonus, you want things like best wins, you want the full picture, and if we could provide that, I think it'd be interesting, because it's crazy how many multi-chance. I mean, Mark Hall is only a 1-timer, but he is someone who he could have had the bookend career.
Got neck cramp. What the heck?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Be tough, man.
Strong neck. That's
podcasting is not for the faint of heart, Ben. Some people can handle it. Some people can't. I don't know. But Mark Hall's an interesting one, because he would have been the
2.
The 1, I think, because he beat Kimmer at Big Tens.
Oh yeah.
Because Kimmer won the duel and then lost to Big Tens, whereas it was like flip flop with Bull and Shinzo. Like, so
because Valencia went up that year, there.
So he could have very well won. How about Valencia's so interesting there too.
Probably goes 1-2-2-1 is probably where Mark Hall goes. Yeah,
with his NCAA losses to Zahid, who was going to win the Hodge, and then his season got. Actually, everyone acts like he's a Corona casualty. He's not. He is a suspension casualty.
Yeah.
Speaking of Zahid, Aaron Brooks, maybe in World Team Trials, amongst others, 86 kilos. Getting excited about that. Okay. All right. Other questions. That was a good one, though. Where Nick Lee fits. Where does he fit?
It's almost like Kale's pretty good at coaching or something.
Well, we'll see. I mean, everyone wants to rush to judgment here. But 9 out of 11, it's still a little, who knows? Let's see.
Jury's still out on that one.
Jury's still out. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm just saying you don't know for sure. Of all the guys completing their careers this year, who do you think has a chance to find success in senior level wrestling? This is interesting because I honestly don't have a ton of names that come to mind other than Gable, who already won the Olympics.
So with anyone who is finishing the eligibility this year,
who do you see?
Give me a list. F.
I mean, we kind of know who's not
Nick Lee.
So, Nick Soriano, Nick Lee.
Okay. Nick Soriano. I don't know if that dude's gonna wrestle. I'm not. I would be nervous.
What's he gonna do? Be a thespian? The guy's gonna wrestle.
Maybe he's gonna fight. I don't know what he told me. He's got that fighter pop. I don't know what he's gonna do.
I don't know, man. I think he's got senior level aspirations first.
Nick Lee. Is Santo gonna wrestle? What's Santo gonna do?
He said he's gonna wrestle.
He's gonna wrestle.
Okay.
He'll be an interesting guy at 60. I'll say it. At 61 against Roman, that would be a lot more. I won't say he'll win.
You can push him out.
But Roman will have.
I bet Roman can tip him a bunch when he goes in on leg attacks.
It opens up a lot of different things. I'm just saying the match will look really different. Whereas I think
Ironman's gonna wrestle too, right?
Yeah, he said he's not done.
I would assume so.
But I'm not. He's a 65. Is he going to enter the Yanni, Nick Lee, Zane if he comes down strata? I don't think so.
He's beaten Logan Stieber. He's had some good wins.
I know, but
he's gonna be out for a while now.
Yeah. So we probably wouldn't see him until
Deacon's beaten James Green before.
Deacon's interesting. Deacon, he's someone where it's like, man, should he go up to 74 and start just building up there for the Olympic year?
Yeah. Most likely.
I think he's gonna be really good at freestyle. He's already been really good. He's a junior world silver medalist. He's made final X
guy.
Yes, he's beaten James Green. He's super good. Man, I feel
like
Evan
gonna wrestle
Wick was third last year.
Yes.
Yep, at Olympic.
I'm sure there's a lot more talent entering the senior level thing. Like Evan's not gonna fight or something crazy, right? He seems not super fighty
he
to
had
me.
Joked about it a few times. I don't think he was very serious.
Okay, good.
That was my take. So
three answers, Miles Amin.
Well, yeah, he's already Olympic bronze.
Already Olympic medalist. So hey, a couple of years ago, Iowa RTC or whatever had all the women, and they kind of were had got rid of Gilman, and we're like, where are Iowa guys at the senior level?
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, hey, they're saving it for this class that's going to be done in 2021. Obviously, that class got delayed by a year. But now when you look at this class of 2022, you're like, is Kemmerer going to stay around and wrestle? Is Marinelli? I don't know. I don't really see it. It feels like they're ready to move on.
Well, I would be surprised if Kimmer did. I feel like
shocked, yeah.
He's ready to – he's not healthy, right? And for Bull, I don't know. I don't think so.
Didn't Marinelli say in his interview he was ready to kind of start coaching? He hadn't really decided, but he alluded to
he was non-committal, which I think is smart. But I think probably you can't imagine him sticking around wrestling again. And
I can't imagine. Caleb Young?
No,
right? So it's like they were saving all this money for this class, and now you're looking at it like who? Spencer probably will wrestle after another year.
Yeah, so Spencer was supposed to be, already in the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and in that program, and now his got delayed even another year because of his injury season. But yeah, I mean, Spencer's going to be obviously a huge cog to build around for them. And some of it, the RTC thing is you want guys there for the college team to roll with and mentorship, etc.
That's the thing for some. I mean, some of them are, say like a Michigan or Penn State, are very, very highly competitive.
Yeah, there's no question. So yeah, I think obviously the ideal is to build your program around guys you recruited on the senior level, but I think in 2022 you should play the free agency if you want to build your RTC, right?
Yes.
With a nucleus of athletes that were in your program, because I think that's just a better, more seamless transition. But I think looking around and saying, okay, how can we be additive to our guys is important.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay. Next question. Who of the 10 champs is most likely to have a successful transition to MMA eventually?
Carter Starocki was talking about fighting people.
He said he'd run through the division.
Clean out a division.
Yeah, he needs to simmer down until he goes and fights someone. But I like the confidence.
Yeah.
Serrano would be. I mean, honestly, Serrano would be good. RBY would be good. I mean, Nick Lee would be good, but he don't want to fight nobody.
Steve Ass?
But we said
Frankie
champs,
Edgar's
right?
his boy.
Didn't we say champs? Was that the question?
Just champs. Sorry.
Yeah, this said champs. I mean, I think Roman and Soriano have this elusivity that would be very beneficial in the fighting.
Gable will be so freaking good. My guess is he goes WWE for a few years, builds a larger name and a larger following, and then goes and demands money, a lot more money for fighting, and it's probably a smart move.
Yeah, I think it's smart. I think the idea. I've said I don't think Gable's wrestled his last match for his career. I think
really. Want to bet on that?
I think he comes back at some point for something and wrestles again. The guy's
I don't know.
The guy's competitor
Take
supreme.
him around, beat the streets, Ben.
Yeah, take one for the team.
Ben Askren, beat the streets.
Hell no. That was so
You
dumb.
thought Jordan's double leg was hard.
Well, I'd be more worried about. I mean, he's gonna go snap. He goes snap high single a lot. Doesn't do too many double legs.
Yeah, but he might make an exception for you.
That'd be unfortunate.
It would be for almost everyone. I think, the MMA angle is definitely there, but I see. I mean, he alluded to it in the press conference, like 2024 is he's going to look at it. Win an Olympic title.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's wrestled this last match.
Here's the hard thing. He's obviously going to have, because there's going to be parts of him that definitely want to do it, right? But there's going to be another part of him who's committed to being really good at something else. And then, it's like, well, if I'm committed to being good, he's the type of person that he's committed to being good at something else. How's he going to spend all this time on this other thing that he also wants to be an Olympic champion at? It's like, it's really going to be challenging for him.
Here's my thought on that is like, it's not like you when you were trying to be a fighter, but you were also entering like world team trials, and those things are just at odds with each other. I mean, we're talking about acting. We're talking about something that is not competitive. It's like the things aren't in competition with each other. It's like you can have like, your occupation or whatever, which I don't think he's not going to be grinding.
They actually spend a lot of time doing that. No, they do spend. It's time consuming. It is time consuming.
I'm sure it is.
Time that you're not training.
Yes. But I think, if he's putting in a couple. Here's the thing. And one thing I was thinking about, like, he's signed. He's like a WWE employee or whatever, right? Yeah. He is. And so we thought, all right, he's going to be mostly focused on WWE, but he can just roll up and beat these guys and then continue to be doing the WWE thing through college. Yeah. That's what we expect this year. Well, actually, he just got way better and trained and was awesome and as good as we ever saw him wrestle, which is crazy because we watched him win the Olympics this summer. So that to me says, okay, well, this guy is still one. His trajectory is like this. It's going up. And he's able to kind of navigate this stuff. And he was still, I guess, in school in some form or fashion. So I think he's already shown he's able to navigate it, and I think he could do it. And obviously, I've never been a WWE wrestler.
What was the one? I'm blanking on the one that where the guy slaps the reporter.
Oh,
Gable's
yeah.
totally gonna do that to Christian.
No way. We get along great.
He is. He's like, think it's fake? Bam! He's gonna smack you.
Is that
It's
fake?
gonna be awesome. How's that fake?
That was, man, what a dummy that guy. I'm pretty sure that guy got fired when he did that, actually.
No way. They gave him a freaking raise. Are you kidding me?
No, he got. I saw a documentary
I'm
about
pretty
this.
sure
That
he
guy.
got like charged.
No,
Yeah.
they gave him a raise.
No, Ben,
They
you're
told you
lying.
they fired him and he came back as a different character.
No, you're just making things up. That's not what happened. he got super in trouble
No
for that.
way. Vince
Yes.
McMahon loves that type of stuff.
You don't
Vince
know
McMahon would
anything
not fire
about
him.
man.
He probably cut him a
you-
paycheck for the rest of his life.
I thought you knew something about the fake wrestling, Ben. Sounds like you know nothing.
Love it.
Wrestler, slaps, reporter. Okay, it's popped right up. David. Oh, that guy's name was David Schultz. That is so terrible.
Oh my god.
What happened to David Schultz? Crap. That's gonna come up with some results I don't want.
Yes.
All right, I'll do this deep dive later when I can.
Okay. David Schultz, WWE. What? Oh, it's the first thing on. If you scroll down. No, right. He assaulted John Stossel.
Schultz was fired.
He's got a Wikipedia page.
Oh wow. Well, there you go.
Forever legend.
Look,
We're
he's
still
real-
talking about him.
He's really made it.
Battery on John Stossel.
Do you think this guy's alive?
WWE settled for $280,000.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'll
gosh,
get
this
slapped
is
for
so awesome.
$280,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Big deal. Big whoop. All right, so yeah, that literally ended his wrestling career and he became a bounty hunter. So I don't think it worked out great.
Oh, listen to this. Listen to this. Although Schultz has consistently maintained that WWF officials told him to hit Stossel. Specifically, he insists Vince McMahon said, quote, blast him, tear his ass up, stay in character, Dr. D.
Makes no
Schultz was
sense.
ultimately fired.
led to this real-life
Yeah.
Here it
brutality.
is.
I think this is
Yeah,
fake.
there's a smack.
Many industry insiders believe that it was not because of his actions against Stossel, but rather because he challenged Mr. T to a fight backstage at a WWE show in Madison Square Garden.
Sounds like a great guy.
This man's golly, Christian. Sometimes we start the show, we don't know where we're gonna go, and we end up with gems. This man is an American hero. Ready for this? He opened up a career as a bounty hunter, pursuing criminals as far as Egypt and Puerto Rico. He has arrested
Hell yeah.
1,700 fugitives, and he's worked with the FBI and DEA.
He sounds like a much better bounty hunter than a wrestler.
Oh my gosh, 1,700 fugitives. We have 1,700
What a
bad guys
legend.
off the streets because of this freaking legend.
What a beast. Thank you for your service, David Schultz.
You really came full circle on this guy, CP.
Yeah. Well,
Oh
he
my
needed
gosh.
to.
You were a hater.
He had to find his true calling, which was not being a fake wrestler, but actually being a real crime fighter.
I want him and
Oh
Dog
my gosh.
the bounty hunter to get in the ring.
Yeah. Is Dog okay, or did his wife die? I think something
His wife
happened.
passed. I believe
Crap.
he's remarried though.
All right. We're our third bounty hunter of the show.
we have a 2 bounty hunter minimum. You guys know that. That's the long tradition of FRL.
High time to be done.
It's probably close to be done. Well, these last 20 minutes of the show, you never know what's going to happen. But the last show, we learned that referee number 6 was a pop singing sensation, Ryan Hagan.
We did. Wow.
That guy, what a beast! He
Oh my
went
God.
he went from like the most maligned official to now, I think, Loki. Now the real full circle will be if Max Dean's next NCAA finals, he comes out to a Ryan Hagan single.
Oh my gosh, how funny would that?
That would be the best. That would be the best bit ever.
That would be such a niche bit though that so few people would get or understand.
That's okay. Sometimes those
We would
jokes are
love it.
worth it for like the 50 people. But you know what? If Max and us got on the same page, we could blow up this whole thing for a year, and then everyone would know.
Yep.
Let's do it.
I think we could do it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go. Let's get the heck out of here. Thank you guys so much for listening to 780 of these bad boys?
770.
770.
It's Atlanta area code.
Shout out to Atlanta. Great city. We'll be back next Tuesday. Shout out to the Outlaws competing at the Space City Duels.
City Duels.
We're going.
Whoa.
You heard right. It's in the Houston area. That's Space City to you, though.
Okay.
So we're gonna be descending upon Houston. A lot of wrestling this weekend. NHSCA's PWC, I believe, and other stuff.
Wisconsin Wrestling U State, baby.
Wisconsin Wrestling U State. It's a big man. Y'all are just now doing that.
Yeah, it's really late. It's really annoying. The regionals always fall at NCAs, and everyone hates it, and they won't change it. It's so dumb.
Dude, Texas got a big advantage on freestyling you guys because we've been locking hands for a couple weeks now, Ben. We got our transitions.
You guys suck. Wisconsin will crush you in Fargo. Give me a break.
We'll see. Hey, we'll see. I'll see you there. I'll take you out. All right, thanks, guys. See you next time. Goodbye.